Okay, so are you ready to jump down the rabbit hole? Today we are going deep, and I mean really deep, into the world of hypno-channeling.
Sounds intense.
Oh, it is. We're talking about a YouTube channel called Hypnovibes. You guys might already be familiar with it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it features this amazing hypnotist named Naomi. She is incredible. She guides people into some really, really deep, altered states of consciousness, and what they discover there is, well, let's just say it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is fascinating, isn't it? Hypno-channeling. It's like you said, the idea of bypassing that conscious mind to tap into something deeper, a wellspring of knowledge, like a universal consciousness even.
Exactly. That's what's so wild about it. You know, in one particular episode, Naomi is working with this woman named Jessica. And through this hypno-channeling, Jessica reveals some seriously crazy information.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's about Santiago Flight 513.
Santiago Flight 513.
Yeah, it's this flight that vanished 35 years ago, like completely disappeared. Then, out of nowhere, it reappears in 1989. But here's the chilling part. Everyone on board, skeletal remains. Total mystery.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. Spooky stuff. But what does this have to do with hypno-channeling?
Well, under hypnosis, Jessica describes the passengers, 92 of them, including the crew, as gray beings.
Gray beings. Like aliens.
That's what she's channeling, yeah.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. So these gray beings were on a plane, disappeared for 35 years, and then reappeared as skeletons. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I know, right? But she goes even further. She suggests that these beings, they planned the whole thing, like it was all part of some prearranged agreement.
So you're telling me these beings came to Earth, took on human forms, lived here for 35 years, and then just poof, like they used this flight as their exit strategy.
It does kind of sound like that when you put it that way, right? I mean, if they orchestrated this whole thing, it completely flips our understanding of time, free will, maybe even the nature of reality itself. Like, what even is real anymore?
It really is mind-boggling. Time, interdimensional travel. These aren't concepts we can easily grasp, are they? It's hard to even imagine.
I know, right? It's like, is our linear understanding of time even accurate?
Exactly. Who knows? It's like trying to see all the colors outside the visible spectrum. We're probably just scratching the surface.
And this whole thing with the gray beings supposedly orchestrating their experience, it makes you think about choice, right? Like, what if our souls actually choose these experiences before we're even born?
Oh, are you talking about soul agreements?
Yeah. Jessica mentions those too. Like, these beings, they made a choice to come to Earth, live as humans, knowing it was only temporary.
Soul agreements. That's a whole other can of worms, isn't it? A lot of people believe those are like predetermined contracts we make with the universe. Like, our destiny is set before we're even born.
But then others say, it's more about choice. Like, our souls choose these experiences to learn and grow across different lifetimes. It really makes you wonder, right?
Definitely. It's a question that's probably plagued philosophers and theologians for centuries, hasn't it? Destiny versus free will. Are we really in control, or are we just playing out a script that's already written?
Right. Makes you think. But hey, you know what else is really interesting? The hypnotist herself, Naomi Shu, she also wrote a book called The Next Level You.
Really?
Yeah. And it explores a lot of these same themes, higher consciousness, connecting with some kind of deeper knowledge within.
It does seem to fit right in with everything we've been talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It definitely does. And, it makes you think about Jessica's story. Like, what if we all have this potential for profound connection?
It's exciting to consider, right? We all have these hidden depths. Maybe we just need the right tools to access them.
Absolutely. And maybe stories like Jessica's and hypno-channeling in general could be one of those tools.
Right. Perhaps. It certainly gives us something to think about.
Okay, but now I got to tell you the part that really gives me chills.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. Jessica suggests that some of the people living amongst us right now could actually be those gray beings. Like, they're here living normal lives, but they could just vanish at any moment, just like they arrived.
It's definitely a chilling thought. I mean, could this explain some of those unexplained disappearances we hear about? Or, some sudden deaths that just don't make sense. Like, what if those people were just called back to wherever they came from?
Exactly. But, it's important to remember we got to take these claims with a grain of salt.
Right, of course. We always have to approach things like this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Definitely. But even if we just think of it as a metaphor, a story about consciousness, it does make you think about how temporary human existence really is. Like, what if there's a whole other reality beyond what we can perceive? And what if we're just a small part of something much, much bigger?
Yeah, it certainly makes you question things, doesn't it?
Okay, so let's just recap this crazy story. We got hypno-channeling, a vanished flight, gray beings, soul agreements, and the possibility that some of them are right here, right now. What do you make of all of it?
Well, honestly, I don't know what to make of it, but it's a question worth asking, right? It challenges everything we think we know about reality and consciousness.
Right.
Like, what is a soul? Where does it come from? Where does it go? And even if we don't ever fully grasp these concepts, stories like Jessica's give us a chance to explore them. And
Yeah.
maybe that exploration can lead to personal growth, maybe even a spiritual awakening. Who knows?
It's true. It's like those stories, those mysteries, they push us to think outside the box.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. They can help us break free from the limitations of our everyday thinking.
Exactly. So if anyone out there is as fascinated by all of this as we are, I highly recommend checking out Hypno Vibes on YouTube. They've got a ton of incredible videos, and Naomi, the hypnotist, is amazing. Oh, and don't forget about her book, The Next Level You.
Yeah, great resources for anyone who wants to learn more.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll discover your own mind-blowing connection to the universe.
Who knows what's out there waiting to be discovered, right?
You got that right.
All right, until next time, folks, keep those minds open and those questions coming.
See you next time.
He needed to move all these souls.
So there are 88 passengers. They're all Greys.
Yes.
And also 4 crew members.
All of them are Greys.
92.
Yeah.
So
I think they just needed to go back.
But why this way? Go back to
Being Greys.
So that was the plan. But what was the purpose?
They just came to Earth to do what they needed to do. And then they had to find a way to go back.
But then this flight appeared 35 years later, 89, and with all the skeletons in the flight.
Oh, so the body remains.
Correct. But why 35 years later? They disappeared above Atlantic Ocean.
There's no answer. Maybe they made a mistake.
Yeah, the flight was not really, there's no pilot, but the airplane still appeared in Brazil, 1989. So they have to find a way to go back, and this is just their way.
Yeah. Normal to them to just go back, travel through time. The airplane doesn't belong to them.
Right.
So they couldn't, in a way,
So
control.
they're returning, in a way.
I don't know. They just said it's really none of their concern.
I see. And so they did not know that people don't know each other, but that was the agreement they made.
They knew on some deeper level. They were originally all Greys and they had to put on a human costume to do something.
So they're not even human, but they were born as a human.
I don't know if their true
form
form is a Grey. They're all Greys.
Ask them if we have people, obviously the answer is yes, we have people like that. And at a certain point, they will go back.
Yes, people whose lives end early.
Say it again.
People whose lives end early and very abruptly. But not saying all of people's lives that end early and abruptly are of a different existence. It's just the ones who are all leave early and very abruptly.
I see. So how does that work? They just will take that flight that time together.
They just all will be there.
Because on the deeper level.
They know, yeah.
Right, very good. Okay.